brought to you by Don Johnson State Farm Insurance. Activate Don in your life and experience the impact. Why? Because Don Johnson is a visionary. She's determined, people-focused, a problem solver, and she's generous. Visit DonJohnson.net and DonJohnsonCares.com to learn more about her work with the people and the community. Does Don Johnson do too much? Maybe, but that's just Dawn. She loves the people, and she is a change agent. So make sure you stop by Don Johnson State Farm Insurance, located at Rock Hills, Manchester Village, off of Dave Loud Boulevard, 572 John Ross Parkway, Suite 106, directly across from TJ Maxx and in between Sweet Frog and the UPS store. And don't forget to tell them Mr. Darkeye sent you. What it is, great people. The home of motivation. To trust God and live your dreams. All right, good people. You are listening to the Mista Darkeye podcast right here on Anchor FM. New Soul Music, the home of motivation. To trust God and live your dreams. And as you can see, my favorite guest and sponsor is in the building with me, Don Johnson. How you doing?
I'm wonderful.
Your seat, I don't know what's going on with your seat when you come in here, but your seat
I'm
be
so
short.
I'm 5'3¼ So
I don't think
I
it's.
always need help.
I don't think it's your height. I think I got to start remembering to adjust her seat when she come in here.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, it's definitely all good. So what you been up to these days, Don?
Just, we're right off self-care weekend. The whole point of self-care weekend was to replenish our souls, love and encourage each other as women, and then just woosah, the rest of the year.
Wonderful.
We're ready for the holiday.
Ready for the holidays. It's definitely around the corner.
Yes.
And, it's been it seemed like it's been a long year, but it also felt like it was fast. It was fast.
It was fast.
But,
Fast and furious.
We'll see if we can take our time in 2024 and seize the moments and do things the right way.
Yes, be in the moment.
Yeah, in the moment. So we getting ready to get prepared for B.E.L.L. B.E.L.L. Prize now. When I started, it was B.E.L.L. X Prize.
Right. So it's been an evolution, just because everything that we created was based on need at the moment. So now we're, it's B.E.L.L. and now we're going away from even, B.E.L.L. Prize is still an experience that people can have, but it's now becoming one of 6 experiences that we currently have outlined. We're looking at spreading all those experiences across an entire year. So we want to start with revisiting our B.E.L.L. Prize participants. We had to get away from X Prize because that was the name that was given by one of our sponsors.
Okay.
And it was actually a name that was already in use by another entity. So we had to formally stop utilizing that name. So now we're just B.E.L.L. Prize, and then B.E.L.L. Prize is just one experience. So this particular arm under the Black Economic Leadership League is business development and innovation. So we're focusing on business development and innovation within business, and how do we create sustainable businesses within our communities.
Absolutely. So for those that's not familiar with B.E.L.L. Prize, purpose of it, give them that. Run down real quick.
Yeah, so B.E.L.L. Prize has started out as just how do we give, Black folks some money to start their businesses.
That's simple.
Like it was just
how we put
simple.
Some paper in somebody's pocket.
Yeah, right, because it was just so hard. And we realized that, people talk about access to capital, but, we came from a culture of bootstrapping. We were let off the plantation with no jobs and no one really wanting to hire us. And we had to figure it out. So we bootstrapped businesses. We had skills, we had talents, we had expertise, we had, from the motherland that our ancestors brought, just in terms of innovation and how to make something out of nothing. And that's how we started as a people. And I think we need to get back to that, because that is where our economic mobility lies. That's where our economic power lies. And, it's okay. I tell people, work that 9 to 5, work your corporate jobs. If God blessed you with that, but learn them and work on them with integrity, with the motivation to learn everything that you can, but go ahead and keep your, create a side hustle. Have that additional stream of income because, when other people are running companies, you don't know what their long-term vision is. You don't know if you're a part of it.
Right.
So you don't want to miss a beat financially if they move in a different direction and you can't go with them.
Absolutely.
That you have something to fall back on. And your side gig may need to be your primary, stream of income until you decide whether you can make it that or if it needs to just sustain you in a moment.
Absolutely.
But we always, I think, need to have another stream of income, at least one. And that's what B.E.L.L. Prize was about, helping us tap back into what had been given to us by our ancestors. And that's that innovation, ingenuity, self-sufficiency, self-reliance, and teaching us how to do that. And we just wanted to fund those dreams, get people to dreaming again on how they can, reinforce their businesses, make them scalable if they wanted to grow them, give them the knowledge, the information, and maybe some resources to help them do that. And that was the original goal.
Absolutely. And I know I speak from personal experience from being in the first one. And I know for me, even more so than just the money, the information was so valuable. Everybody that came and spoke and shared the information based off what they specialized in, it was just priceless.
Right.
The information that was given by everybody that came. So I know for me, being blessed to be one of the top 12.
Yeah.
I was one of the top 12 participants to be able to do the big pitch.
Yeah.
And that was a wonderful experience as well.
Absolutely.
Just being in that moment. And but like I said, congratulations to all of the winners from that year. But I felt like for me, I still came out with a win because I gained so much information that I didn't know before that I was able to apply. And, y'all see what I was able to do with that information.
Absolutely.
Working with big companies like BT and TV1 and all of those stuff I never would have imagined, So it was just amazing to be able to utilize the information to push a brand and move it forward that I wasn't able to do before. So
absolutely. And Morris, I'm so glad that you're going to be a part of the journey of us really looking at what worked so well, because I think what you're describing is that mind shift boot camp that we did. Where we opened up our minds to the possibilities. We read books. Like I know people told me they hadn't read books like that in a long time.
Right.
And I think we had 6 books on our list. So it truly was a boot camp, but that knowledge and opening up our minds to what could be, and that's where we want to go to right now, is seeing what that mind shift and what that experience did for people, because we, to your point, as we did surveys and we've done a feasibility study now, we realized that information is what was the real prize.
Absolutely.
So we want to get back to the information, and that's where we're going to start. So that's what we're going to do now, is going to see a journey to see where are they now. All the B.E.L.L. Prize participants, whether they won money or not, we know they won in the knowledge game, even if it was them making a decision that business wasn't for them.
Right.
Because that was part of the process, too, is to bring in people who were successful and not so successful and actually feel like they failed in business, but they had an aha moment to know, I tried, it didn't work, and when I realized it's not for me, because it's not for everyone. And I think that's the thing that we need to understand, is how can you figure that out before you lose too much money, before you lose other money and you get too deep in the debt, that you understand is exactly what you're getting yourself into. So we want to hear from everyone who's willing to share their journey, and thank you for opening up this platform. This will be a series of Where Are They Now in
Absolutely.
B.E.L.L. So we can just kind of hear what everyone is, and then we'll embark on what programming we're going to begin to roll out in 2024.
Absolutely. And speaking of Where Are They Now?
Yes.
We have a special guest.
We have a special guest.
Miss Cathy Stewart.
Miss Cathy Stewart
is coming up. So y'all, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
The Mista Darkeye podcast is being brought to you by Don Johnson State Farm Insurance. Activate Don in your life and experience the impact. Why? Because Don Johnson is a visionary. She's determined, people-focused, a problem solver, and she's generous. Visit donjohnson.net and donjohnsoncares.com to learn more about her work with the people and the community. Does Don Johnson do too much? Maybe, but that's just Dawn. She loves the people and she is a change agent. So make sure you stop by Don Johnson State Farm Insurance, located at Rock Hills, Manchester Village, off of Dave Loud Boulevard, 572 John Ross Parkway, Suite 106, directly across from TJ Maxx and in between Sweet Frog and the UPS store. And don't forget to tell them Mr. Darkeye sent you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. You are listening to the Mr. Darkeye podcast right here on Anchor FM, News, Soul Music, the home of motivation to trust God and live your dreams. As I say it, we have a special guest in the building. She is an entrepreneur and so many other things, and I'm going to let her tell her exactly all the wonderful things that she does. I got the wonderful Miss Cathy Stewart sitting beside me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I was so hoping you was going to roll those titles and all those roles. And all
I don't want to miss nothing. So I want
well,
you
I
to,
didn't want to miss anything. It is so good.
I want you to lay it all out there because I know you got them all laid out. You do a lot of things.
I do. I've learned not to even deny it. I do. But it's great. I love it. I have no complaints. Even the tough stuff sometimes.
Yes.
Right, I still do. So currently, I am still with Dreamers Realty, broker in charge and owner, going into 15 years.
15 years.
Of ownership, right? And as well as my talk show, not podcast.
Okay.
The Nest.
Yeah, I've seen some episodes.
Yeah. So that's a lot of fun. And let's just stop there.
Okay.
Let's just stop there. That's the thing.
And so many
really
other things.
Right. So those are the two things that are really kind of in the forefront, as well as some outreach that I'm doing with the Tribe of Judah Outreach Ministry.
Awesome.
And I only try to keep 3 on my plate at a time. So those are the 3 that are basically in the forefront now. So I just want to enjoy talking to you now.
Yes. So, and Dawn, you can chime in and let me know if I got this correct. B.E.L.L was when the first year was 2017, 2018.
2018. And we did a press conference when we had the $100,000 that was donated to help businesses in the community. So we had 70 people show up saying that they were interested. Were you in that 70, Miss Cathy?
Yes, I was in that first one. That first one. Yes.
First one.
Yeah.
We had 70 that showed up. When we laid out the dates of the programming, we had about 40 people who participated in B.E.L.L Prize. And then they did the boot camp, and then we had about 26 that advanced to doing the workshops. 12 submitted, I think all 26 submitted their business plans, and then 12 were selected to do their pitch. Yeah, and Cathy was part of all of that.
Yes, she was.
And I'm glad you said that because I promise you, I don't even know where I ended up at.
Yeah,
I mean, I was just there championing and cheering, and so elated to even be part of something that was so great. You know, and that, look, here come the preacher voice coming.
Go on, preach
Here
then.
come the evangelist coming through.
Right.
But from day one, we all knew that we were part of something that was great.
Yeah.
That hadn't been did before, that had not been did before. And that that word, because you know I'm wordy, the synergy. I will never forget that word. And that was in the room from the very first night that we came and stayed. Was it 4 hours? We were like from 6 to 10 every week, learning, gleaning, listening with speakers. And I learned so much. And I really thought that I knew a lot, but I realized from that point, really from that first day, that there was a lot I did not know.
Right.
And so I was like a kid in the candy shop. I promise you, I was. But yeah, that experience was amazing.
It definitely was. Like you talk about the synergy. I remember, Dawn, you probably remember, you noticed how everybody would stick around like after the fact.
Nobody wanted to leave. And I'm like, it's late. It's Tuesday.
It's
Don't
10
come
o'clock
out
at night.
Yeah, it was like everybody would stick around. And you think like after 4 hours, everybody would just get in their car and just go home. Yeah. But it was like we was stick around and just talk.
Moment. To me, I keep describing it as your first kiss. Like I don't know that we'll ever get back to what that felt like. Definitely, we want to keep that synergy going and learn from it. But you will never get that feeling, that first initial feeling of unity, camaraderie, the desire to help each other. Like that
was major.
Yeah.
That was one of the most major parts of it. We forgot. I remember Elaine Whitmore saying, "Cathy, you do know you're in a competition, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
It didn't feel like it though.
It didn't feel like it because a win for one was a win for everybody.
Yeah.
And I can truly say, even from those 40 to as it 26-12, however it went.
Yeah.
I still have relationships with those people, even if we don't talk.
Right.
Me and Mr. Morris, his dark eye, may not talk for years or whatever. But I've still followed him. I followed him. I keep up with what's going on, best I can.
Yeah.
And that feeling is still there.
We became family.
We became family.
Absolutely. That's the
Connected
word.
Forever.
That's the word, family.
Yes.
That's the word right there. So so for you, outside of that synergy that you felt, what else was the biggest thing that you got from B.E.L.L. that you was able to apply to what you were doing that helped you the most?
It was the genuine caring.
Okay.
There was a genuine, it's like I got it. Want.
Yeah.
Desire.
For us to achieve what we came here to do, right? Be it, as Dawn mentioned earlier, that we don't even continue in the business. I changed my pitch about 3 times because it started out with the real estate company, and then ended up actually being teaching and coaching.
That's
so
amazing.
even as I came back the second time, I thought I was coming back, to compete again, but ended up switching to coaching and counseling
That's amazing.
the participants.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not here for that.
Right. You realize that people needed encouragement.
Right. Yeah. So so I ended up and still am teaching real estate.
That's amazing.
I know, right? So that came through all of, those different channels and trying to find my way. Where am I at this point, this place, this time, of my life? Do I even want to still continue to have a business? How do I want to scale up, scale it, end up scaling up, but just get ready to scale back more. But my passion now is teaching and empowering and just encouraging, motivating, helping those that, need that come from a place that I've been. And that's the only thing that I really can help you with if I've been in that place. And I can tell you what that's like. I can share it and also help you, encourage you to come through that place, because it's not a staying place. You're in there, get what you need to get from it, get out, keep it moving forward.
Yeah, you find your lane, I think. That's what when you were describing all these things, because we all have so much going on in our brains that we can do. We're multi-talented. We are a multi-talented people. We can do just about anything. But it's like, how do you find your lane? You feel like you can give the most of what you have to offer to this world. And I feel like that's what you figured out, what your lane
Absolutely. Yeah. And Dawn, I so love the part that you brought forth earlier about we being creators, right? And that creative hustle. I have had a hustle all my life with a 9 to 5 and going to school, going to college. I started out selling soft drink bottles. That's how I knew I was to be in the selling part of things, right? In the selling soft drink bottles, like finding them and getting the money for that. And then later on, other different types of sales and stuff, right? But I always have had a hustle. So that's who we are.
Yeah.
That's who we are. Even before we had the licenses and the businesses, and all that stuff, we were doing things. So.
Yeah, that's true. I think all of us probably got a story we could tell. We can go back and see where we had that part of us in an early age of
As
our
a
lives.
culture.
Like,
That's
I
a
don't-
culture.
That's
Yeah.
a culture.
yeah, I don't know if Cathy ever seen. You ever showed Cathy that picture of you in a business suit when you was a little girl?
Third grade.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
You did a post with that,
I
as a
did.
matter
Yeah.
of fact. She
So
sure
it's
did.
like it's somewhere you can find evidence of it in your
Oh,
early
yeah.
stages of your life, you know. So I know for me, I've had that experience early on in life too. When I was first doing music, and I would go around selling CDs out of my book bag,
Yes.
you know, and things of that nature. So it was like something that happened early on, and you don't really realize you're an entrepreneur.
That's who you are.
You know, that's what you're doing. You don't
Right.
realize that's what you're doing, because back then I go back and look at it like I was actually keeping up with inventory and sales, and
Right.
I was doing it, but it wasn't coming from a place where somebody actually taught me that.
Right.
I was just going off
You
of
were
what I
figuring it out.
yeah, I was just figuring it out. You know,
And that's another thing too. When you mentioned the very first one, the start, right, of B.E.L.L, and how we were figuring it out, or how you guys were, but you were doing it in real time.
Right.
That's a word. We were doing it in real time
Building the plane as we were flying.
as you were going, right?
Yeah.
Building a plane as we were flying it.
I think that's wonderful. And sometimes you just got to do that. You got to figure it out as you go. You know, because some of us, you never get started. If you feel like you don't know what you're doing, sometimes you just got to get started. Like you can't. I think that's a quote that said, "You can't learn how to drive a car when it's in park. While you just sitting there in it."
Right.
Listen,
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
I ain't never scared.
Yeah,
That's the part for
You
me.
ain't never
I
scared.
ain't never scared. Either you
That's
do
how
it
I
or you
be.
don't.
you can't
What?
be. You
You
cannot
win
be.
or you learn, right?
Yeah,
you
that's
can't
it.
be scared. You can't be
Yeah.
afraid to be a risk taker.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what phase of life that you're in. See, and that's the part for me as I start to get into these 60s. This is my last year of the 50s, right? But I have to go back and look. We have to go back and look to the things that we've overcame,
Exactly.
that we've did. That was a risk that some people thought you were the craziest person in the world. Me leaving in my 9 to 5, like that was the bread and butter, right? For 7 years, I didn't even think about it anymore. I left and that was it.
Well, you know, they call us crazy until it works,
Right.
and we ain't crazy no more.
You ain't crazy. Oh wow, okay.
You're a genius. You go from being crazy to being a genius.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's
but you
it.
do. And
Yeah.
and that's, even and this is the evangelist part coming
Yeah.
out again too. But we were created to be risk takers.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't even be here if you weren't.
Right. We all got a purpose.
We were sent. That's right.
Everything's
With a
created
purpose.
with a purpose. You know, just like these microphones we talking on. Everybody was created with a purpose, and I believe purpose fix problems.
Come
So-
on now.
I love that.
I
Yeah.
hear you now.
Purpose fix problems. You know, these mics are fixing a problem with the purpose that it has for people to hear us.
Well-
you know, so I feel like that's the whole thing. Like we all got to remember that God created us with a purpose, and when we was born, it was because there was a problem that He put us here
Come
for.
on
That
now.
you know, I feel like we
All
all
right, that's
got
the
a
black titan.
Yeah.
I hear the black titan covered out. Find the
just
problem.
Find the need. And
Yeah.
fill it.
That's
and
it.
that's what B.E.L.L was really trying to do, is to give all of this that already existed a platform so that we can begin to create toolkits for ourselves.
Yep.
So that we can begin to, because the piece that we were missing is how to make it financially work for us in
Yes.
a sustainable way to take care of our families and to scale. That's the part, because I think we kind of get stuck in that phase. We take the risk, we take the leap, we create something,
scale.
and then we kind of get stuck because we don't know where to go from there, because those are the pieces we haven't been taught. Like, how do you build industry? How do you build longevity? How do you build generational wealth? How do you transfer? You know, so those are the pieces I think that we had to start to put some structure around and give to people to take all of this to the next level.
Absolutely.
So we can have more empowered communities.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, we're running out of time. So, but I love this conversation. I feel like some major key things were said that just could change somebody's life and help them get motivated to trust God and live their dreams, because that's what this podcast is all about. And I thank you, Don, for being my sponsor. Thank you all out there for listening. And again, we pray that something was said that's going to help you stay motivated to keep trusting God and living your dreams. Yes, this has been the Mr. Darkeye podcast right here on Anchor FM New Soul Music, the home of motivation to trust God, live your dreams. We'll catch you next time.
Look, trust God, live your dreams. It's God's promise. Trust God, live your dreams.
What it is, great people.
The home of motivation to trust God and live your dreams.